The daily newspaper. Once most people are done with it, they toss it into the trash. But that was not the case with one Ellis F. Stenman, who lived here in Pigeon Cove, Massachusetts back in the 1920s. Stenman was fascinated by newspapers. He read 5 or 6 a day. Then he decided to see if he could use them to build a house. This house. It's got a wooden porch roof and frame, but the walls are made of newspapers, ironed flat, glued together, and varnished. Still solid after more than 60 years. And no wonder. The walls are 215 sheets thick. By winding newspapers into tight rods like these, Stenman was able to fill his house with 30 pieces of furniture. This piano is only covered with newspapers. These items, lamp, table, and chairs, are constructed entirely of newspapers, except for the rockers on the rocking chair. To build this grandfather clock, Mr. Stenman gathered newspapers from the capital cities of 48 states. A desk constructed to commemorate the transatlantic solo flight of Charles Lindbergh displays the headlines that heralded that historic 1927 event. To build the house and furniture, Stenman recycled over 100,000 newspapers. And even with the help of family and friends, it took him about 20 years' worth of weekends and evenings. The dedication needed to achieve such unique results is shared by an artist here on the French Riviera who set out to build a dream house. A network of steel mesh provided the framework for a structure that had no blueprints. It was shaped almost by whim, following the dictates of the imagination of the man who conceived it. Artist and architect Ante Lovac wanted to eliminate straight lines and build a house that was all curves. To achieve his goal, he used the same sort of construction techniques used to build swimming pools. Steel rods covered by sprayed-on concrete. To determine where windows would be placed, Lovac simply relaxed and looked around. If the view was impressive, the reinforcing steel would be moved until the view was framed to his liking. By the time construction was completed and a reflecting pool installed, the house was more than a home. It was a work of art, a flowing series of interconnecting bubbles that merged with the hillside on which they were perched. Unlike other builders who first design the exterior, then divide the interior space into rooms, Lovac's intention was to create an envelope around free-flowing living space. Separated by levels and by function, some rooms are furnished in traditional style. This is the dining room, a sensual shell brightened by bubble windows. The house has been described as a landscape for living in, modeled like sculpture. For Lovac, the house represents a revolt against conventional architecture. A small nook like this, he believes, is worth building just because it frames a perfect view of the garden. As a house or as a work of art, Lovac's creation is an impressive addition to the list of unusual structures that includes a fanciful boat built here, near Peking in China. This is Lake Kunming. It was once a royal resort, ruled by the Dowager Empress Tzu Chi. Until her death in 1908, she lived in splendid luxury, financed by embezzling the funds of her empire. At her command, this marble version of a Mississippi riverboat was constructed for her pleasure. To pay for it, she used government cash that was supposed to have been used to build real ships for the Chinese Navy. Made out of stone, the boat sits solidly on blocks of rock. The boat is now popular with Chinese tourists who come to admire the ornate decorations. Ceiling tiles like these are relics of a time when a self-indulgent empress could freely plunder a nation's treasury. Visitors also come simply to enjoy the view the empress once claimed as her own. Originally an extravagance, the marble boat is now an honored historical monument. The Chinese respect it as much as the French respect the Eiffel Tower.
This is one of the best ways to see Paris. Cruising through the heart of the city on the River Seine. The Eiffel Tower is probably the most famous sight here. But at one time, the Paris skyline included the Statue of Liberty. That's right, the Statue of Liberty. The statue was built here in Paris as a gift for America. But as the gigantic sections were assembled and began to tower over the city, the people of Paris fell in love with her. To them, she had become a Parisienne. The statue was missed by many Parisians when, after a year, she was finally disassembled and shipped to New York. To console themselves for their loss, the French, always romantic, built a model 1/4 actual size and put it here on the Isle of Swans. Except for her size, she duplicates the lady who lifts her lamp above New York's harbor. Now, she looks to the west, toward America and toward her big sister, 3,600 miles away. Believe it or not.